Hello, and welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business, sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. Today is Monday, the 18th of January. It's crazy to believe that we're already past the halfway mark in January, getting closer to February. I want to let you know that I apologize about not being here on Friday. I literally got sick, and I pretty much was in bed for about 18 to 20 hours straight. It was pretty crazy, but I'm feeling a lot better. Still a little tired, but that's okay. I'm back at it today and feeling up to the task. So I wanted to talk to you today about an interesting topic. If you saw the title, Lessons from Babylon for Voice Actors. I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. But if you haven't, it's an incredible book. And basically, it follows the story of this man named Arkad, and who's the richest man in Babylon, and has lessons for a lot of his friends who are not rich, and they are struggling just to make it. And they go to Arkad with, these questions, how are we all in the same place in our life? And we went to the same school, and, you showed no extraordinary talents, and yet you're the richest man in Babylon, and we're just barely making by. So Arkad goes into these lessons and things about being wealthy. And, I thought it really kind of encapsulates in general what it takes to really build a successful voiceover business. And that's what I wanted to relate to you today. So in the story, Arkad talks about, the first thing that we have to do in order to become wealthy, and I think for us in this case for a voiceover business, is that he talks about taking the money that we make and at least taking a percentage of that. And he talks about at least taking a tenth of the money that we make, and from whatever job we're working or whatever doing, whether it's voiceover or our regular jobs or whatever, and putting that aside, all right, and saving that. So, we're just taking a tenth, and every single month, we're saving a tenth of what we're making. And then from that, we take that money as it builds up, and we invest that money in order to, make more money, so that money can then work for us as well. And then that money that we make works for us, and the money that makes works for us, and et cetera, until we grow this constant money-making machine. Even though we're spending money liberally, as he calls it, we can still make money. And I think for us voice actors, it's an important thing to consider, right? Because I know for me, when I first started my voiceover business, I literally took, I'm not kidding, and maybe many of you can relate, that money that came in, I was so excited that I was making money that I was like, oh my gosh, I've got money. We're going out to dinner tonight. It was exciting. It was thrilling that I had money coming in from the work I was doing, right? And I was spending it. I never actually stopped and thought, okay, this is a business. The money that's coming in, I should be saving that money to then reinvest in my business so that reinvestment can help me make more money through that investment. And then that money gets reinvested to help me make more money, to which case my business becomes a money-making machine, all right, where it just keeps feeding itself, and one investment after the other investment after the other investment. And it's interesting to think of it this way, all right, as we think about, the money that we bring in from our voiceover business. What are we doing with that money? Are we reinvesting it? Are we reinvesting it in new equipment? Are we reinvesting it in things that are going to bring us more business? Like, are we reinvesting that in ways to generate more business? Like maybe, and again, I'm just throwing this stuff out there, all right? But we talked about equipment. Are we reinvesting it in and getting like an automatic email campaign set up? Are we reinvesting it in an assistant who we hire to find us business? Do we reinvest it in new software? Do we reinvest it in new acoustical treatment? Do we reinvest it in, a coach to help us grow? Are we reinvesting our money, or are we just spending it willy-nilly without thinking about how that works? And I think it's really, to me, it's such an interesting thing because like I said, I never thought of it that way when I first started. And what's interesting now is as my business has grown, what's funny is my business now, I spend on a monthly basis in expenses in my business what I made in a month previously working my job. But that goes to show you the level of when you reinvest and you reinvest and you reinvest, how that grows, the money coming in grows. You know what I mean? How can you reinvest your money in order for that to make more money, for it to work for you? Now, building a business, I always thought is the ultimate reinvestment, right? Because if you can build a machine that works for you and makes money for you, all right, without you having, here's the kicker, without you having to, work there every day, that's a real money-making investment. Right now, as voiceover actors, that's what we do. We work here every day on our businesses. That's fine. But think about it. Just take a moment, because I just like to take a moment to think. And I do believe that's important. On another side note, that we take moments out of our day or out of our week to step back from our business and think about the whole picture. Think about the whole picture of our business, the direction of our business, the ease in which we are able to do business or get business, or the struggle. How do we accomplish overcoming that challenge, right? Step back and think instead of always just putting our heads down and working. And it's a good thing to put our heads down and work, but we got to think in order to make sure that we're putting our heads down and working in the right direction. But this idea of reinvesting into the business should be what your priority is. It was an old rule of thumb, not from the Richest Man in Babylon, but old rule of thumb that they said with business, right? That when you're starting a business, it usually takes 3 to 5 years starting a new business to see any profitability. And I always never understood that, because it doesn't take you 3 to 5 years for money to start coming in. But the idea was it took you 3 to 5 years of money coming in, you reinvesting the money, paying off the debt that you had to acquire in order to get the equipment and the advertising and everything to get your business up and running, paying that off, getting employees paid, reinvesting that money in order to create a sustainable business. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of us, and I have to tell you, I failed miserably at that when I first started. Okay, it was a mess. And I think for me, I probably would have actually built my business even faster. And I still feel like I built, I built a pretty good business in under 4 years. But I think I could have built it even faster if I had reinvested that money. And I would ask you the question, are you reinvesting the things that you make? All right. It's not a judgment, because like I told you, I messed up horribly. I took all that money and I just spent it. In fact, it got so bad for me that the money I made, and this is interesting, and it actually talks about this in The Richest Man in Babylon too. The money I made actually became a part of my income. Like, it became a part of what we needed to survive. It was really interesting. And what I found was, and they talk about this in the book, in Richest Man in Babylon too, is that, the things that we need as people, right, or the things that we want, never ceases. There's always going to be more that we want, right? So whenever we make more money, there's going to be, that money is just going to go into the pot of we need it. So we have to then budget the money we need over here. And budgeting is not creating some sort of awful thing. Some people look at budget and be like, oh my God, it's a budget, right? But think of budget as a means to an end. You are budgeting to do X, Y, Z, right? You're not budgeting because you're punishing yourself. And I think for me, if I would have done that earlier, I know I would have built my business that much faster, meaning that, money that's coming in, even if I'm taking a portion of that and reinvesting it in my business. Like I said, reinvesting it in equipment, reinvesting it in coaching, reinvesting in courses, reinvesting in advertising and marketing. Learning to me in this business is such a vital part. Like, I spent a lot of time not just learning about voiceover, but about marketing and about running an online business, about social media. Like, I spent so much time learning about things that were not necessarily related to voiceover, like the industry, but more so voiceover from like a standpoint of a small business and how do I get business? How do I find people? And that was something that I did spend a lot of money on early on, but I spent the majority of my other money just living my life. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that today. Check out the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a cool book. I mean, it's an old book. And I guess I'll put a link below or whatever if you want to check it out. It's pretty cool. Or listen to the audiobook. Yeah, I mean, take some time to step back and think, where are you investing the money that's coming in? Or if you're just starting out, what is your plan to reinvest? Take the money that you make, and then you want to invest that money so that money that you invest then makes you more money, and then makes you more money. Okay? And it just continues on until the pile grows and grows. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take a moment to like, subscribe, please, as always. And I hope you're having a great Monday. Be safe, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.